Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. There were so many things I wanted to yap about today, and that was what I wanted to yap about today. That there were so many things that I wanted to yap about today. It's almost like Trump got elected all over again. Like everything's being thrown out at us, like no tomorrow, and everything's being, and I'm like, what is going on? But the overall thing I've noticed, the thing that I thought was most interesting, and that was it feels like, and maybe this is all a joke, which is what I'm going to chat about. Maybe it's not, but it feels like both the Democrats and the Republicans are in some type of internal strife, right? Both of them, it feels that way for both of them. And is it real? Like, is it true? Is it actually happening? Part of me says, yeah, absolutely. But then I got to move to the next step. When each side is happy that the other side's fighting, and then also people internally seem to be jumping on board too, it makes me think what's real. Does that make any sense? Right? What actually is real when all of this stuff is popping off all over the place? And one I want to talk about, if I could, I'm going to bring up this one here, which is this is Fox News talking about the Democratic Civil War. Surprise. And then I'll go the opposite. I'll bring up both sides of this one. But this is the one I want to bring up first, which is Fox News, the 5 talking about it. Talking about Obama and the issues that he's dealt with in the past.
Civil war is heating up again, and it looks like the hope and change savior has lost his magic touch. Charlemagne the God and Whoopi Goldberg are giving Barack Obama a major slapdown after the former president dropped some hard truths on his party, telling them to toughen up and do a little less whining and being in the fetal position in the.
Obama's not good at this. I don't mean that. I mean, look, Obama has some skills. Don't get me wrong. I have been very forward with the skills that he has. When it comes to, a prepared speech in front of a crowd, Obama can move a crowd. He's one of the most charismatic Democrats we've had in a long time. Bill Clinton obviously was a master of charisma, but Obama's very good at that, right? That is one of the skill sets that he has. The problem is if he doesn't have the right speech, oh my God, does it not go over well? I think he's one of the guys who keeps yelling, basically, pull your pants up. That's what he basically keeps yelling, which I understand that. I do. But I don't think that's the right answer.
Fight against President Trump.
This has not been about Democrats laying back. Democrats have been angry at what this.
All right. Now, the problem with Whoopi, which is the next person will be a bit better, is that Whoopi never takes responsibility or accountability for anything, ever. It's anytime anything goes bad, it's always someone else's fault. I'm sorry. It's always Republicans' fault. Sorry. It's always Republicans' fault, no matter what. Whether it is their fault or not, does not matter. And Democrats are always awesome, and she's always right. That's how she thinks in every single case.
This man tried to do the last time. They've been angry this time. So
That'll solve
with
it.
much due respect to you both, I believe you are pointing the finger at the wrong person when you say Democrats.
It's mind-boggling to me when I hear people like President Obama say things that regular, everyday people been saying for years. I can give countless examples of Democrats needing to show a spine. Like, for example, they should have told Biden that he was going to be a one-term president. It wasn't up to him.
True.
Dana, does the former president need a new hobby? Because politics has not been good for him since he left the White House.
Well, look, I want to keep moving if I can, right? But the point here being, Obama's is not a great former president. He's not. He's not a great former president. I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being forward. He's not. When I look at former presidents, the GOAT is Jimmy Carter. Not even close. He is the best former president we've had in my lifetime. Not even close. I wish we would all strive to be the former president, Jimmy Carter. He was the best former president ever. All presidents should copy him. He is the one you should copy, not Obama. Obama is not the one you want to copy. Not a good idea. But somehow we've decided he's the one we want to copy. I don't know why. So yeah, I want to bring that piece up just to talk about that because truly you can see Democrats are fighting each other. Now, but not just over Obama. The other piece that they're fighting over is the bigger one, which I see this is a bigger one, and that is Mamdani. And why do I say that? This is now one of the most popular podcasts out there, Pod Save America, right? They're talking about Mamdani. That's a big deal. That is a big deal.
Extraordinary promise on the campaign trail and in conversations on television, on podcasts. That said, those are just words. How is he going to be as an executive?
He wrote, of course, abundance, which to be forward, Democrats are pushing away. I don't know why. Like for those of you who know what abundance is about, abundance was a book that is a book still out now, but it's basically telling Democrats to accept something that the Democratic-run cities and states to one degree, but specifically the cities, are not great places. Accept that as true. They're not the wonderful utopia that Democrats have been saying. Okay, accept that as true, and then fix it. And accept one of the biggest reasons behind it, which, by the way, is true, which is too much regulation, too much community control, it's actually just oligarchic control, too much control over people's lives. That's a big part of what makes cities hard to live in, and many blue states very challenging. That's true. They're saying, yes, you can still, this is what abundance says, at least. You may not believe it, but this is what abundance says. Abundance says, absolutely, we have to worry about people, but we don't want to crush everyone while we're doing it. And at least half of the Democratic Party is like, that's dumb, don't do that. I'm not joking, attacking these guys. I think they got a point. If I was Democrat, I'd be like, let's do what the abundance guys say.
Of the mayor of New York City? I have no idea.
The center and center left should chill out a little bit and let the left win and govern in some places.
That right there is the civil war in the Democratic Party. The left and the center, I'm sorry, the what do you say, whatever, the left, whatever, the center left and whatever left should let the actual left run for a while. Now, here's the funny part. That's still left in the Democratic Party. Most people who are far left are farther left than the Democratic Party. But his point is, let the Democratic Party be left. But let it be the Green Party, right? Let it be the Green Party is what he's saying. And that's the Civil War. The Civil War in the Democratic Party is, do we want, as Democrats, if we're all Democrats, right? Do we as Democrats, do we want Democrats to talk left, but still stay establishment and as mainstream as possible? Can we do that? Or do we want the Democratic Party to actually be left, move towards the actual left, not the establishment left? So talk it and then do it, right? That's what this guy's saying. And that's an actual problem right now for Democrats. How do you know? Because they haven't gotten 100% behind guys like Mamdani yet. They're still hoping Cuomo crushes him. That happened during the this is the second time that we've seen this happen in recent history. 2016, this is when Bernie was trying this. And Bernie was like, let's move the Democratic Party actually left. Let's move it really left, not establishment left, actual left. Let's do that. And if you remember, I said this last year. If the Democrats want to actually work, they have to go economically left. Because again, while I am not economically left, the country's okay with it. And I know some of you guys who are on the right, like, what, Larry, what are you saying? I'm just telling you the truth. The country is okay. Clearly, the country's okay in many cases being economically left, right? That's true. The country was yeah. So I think that's their war
we need more
in a
of
nutshell.
These opportunities
that's
for
it.
This generation to be not expelled or exiled from Democratic Party politics, but like allowed to govern in some areas, particularly in some of the bluest areas in the country.
Hey, everybody, I'm John Lovett.
So that's why I wanted to bring up that really explains the Democratic fight back and forth. Let me grab a couple comments and I'll do the Republican side. But that's kind of what it is. Kim says, it's all part of the soap opera. The plot must thicken. But yes, and I'm going to add something to this, Kim. Yes, but it has to thicken when we start seeing what's actually happening, because it has to become distraction. So yes, but it's got to get more for distraction. Yes. Vivek in the house, he says it is definitely more prominent, but usually there's an establishment versus outsider fight. See, you hit it right, Vivek. This is what's actually happening. In a case of the left, right, they're considered the outsiders, which is funny. You would think, well, left, that's Democrats. But really, the Democratic Party is an establishment party. So the actual left is the outsiders in this story. I know, it seems weird for some of you, but that's actually true. So I think you're right. And that's the point I'm bringing up. The point I want to bring up, and Vivek has put it up early, is the point I bring up. The point I want to bring up, which Vivek has brought up early, is in all the civil wars that we're seeing within the parties, it's actually the same thing. It's establishment versus non-establishment. Most people are saying this system's not working, so we have to somehow break this. So yeah. So all right. But this won't bring notable change. Even the outsiders win. Trump won 2 times and no big changes. But you see now. I'm at the Republican side. Trump is starting to side with the establishment now. Yes. And it's making some people unhappy because they didn't want that. So Mike Voss in the house. Wait a minute. Mike Voss is attacking Democrats? That's never happened before. Dems are leaderless, goalless, and unpopular to own people. Not all Dems are. The establishment is. Mamdani's popular, and he's a leader. So, and he has goals. They're clear. They're ones you and I don't want, but they're clear. So I think the establishment, true. I don't think the rebels, I guess, within the Democratic Party are actually not that. I think they do have leaders, they have goals, and they're popular. But you're right. The actual establishment leadership, that's accurate. That's an accurate establishment. That's an accurate assessment. So yes, Dems / progressive war, but Republicans are more disgruntled. Establishment is separate of all this, seeking power of their own. The Republicans are disgruntled. I agree. And the issue is Republicans are, because this is, I think, why, Mike, and you tell me if you think I'm right on this one. I think Republicans are more disgruntled because they thought they won the revolution, right? Trump was the winner. So see, we have beaten the establishment and we have won the war. So give us all our spoils. And they're not getting them. The left and the Democratic establishment hasn't won the war yet. So they're still trying to win the war. They're hoping Mamdani is going to be their Trump. That is their hope. Mamdani will be the Trump, then they'll win the war. And they'll think, now we'll get everything we want. And we'll see if that happens. But I think that's what it is. Republicans are more disgruntled because they believe they won the war already. Democrats haven't won yet. The Democratic rebels haven't won yet. They lost in 2016 with Bernie. There really wasn't a push for them in 2020 at all. 2024, I mean, maybe a little. This is now when the far left is really making a push again. The squad was a complete disappointment for almost everyone involved. So yeah, that's the issue. So Ganjan agrees with you. He says, Mike, your assessment's spot on, considering the underlying psyche of left and right win doesn't make sense. Good question. Patty in the house. In a word, person. Okay. I'm a word person. Thank you. I'm a word person and can't find the words to tell you all how happy I am I found you, Sharpies and Larry. Oh, Patty, thank you. I need you guys to keep me sane. You are all amazing. Thank you so much, Patty. That's amazing. I'm glad you keep watching. Please keep watching. Yes. Ganji says, civil war like Libertarian Party? We are in perpetual civil war. Libertarian Party doesn't know. There was only, that I can remember, in the last 13 years. In the last 13 years, I have only seen the Libertarian Party not in some form of strife. I'll say strife. In some form of strife. The only time I did not see it was 2016. The Gary Johnson campaign for about 6 months, give or take, maybe 8 in that area. In that area, the Libertarian Party actually wasn't in civil strife. The people who didn't like Gary Johnson just kind of shut up and went away. I'm like, fine, maybe he'll get us 5%. I'm going to be quiet, which is what I wish they would do more often when people are upset. When I'm upset with the Libertarian Party, I tend to just walk away, let them do their thing, whatever, good luck. And most people who didn't, not everyone liked Gary Johnson, to be very forward. I love Gary Johnson to this day. I loved him then. I love him now. I love Gary Johnson. A lot of people don't. A lot of libertarians don't, I should say. That's fine. But most of them just went, fine, whatever, and just went about their business, which I was like, yay. I wish that would happen more often. That actually happened in 2016. Very few people were openly against Gary Johnson. Some were, very few libertarians. Some were, but very few were. Most just either got behind him or shut up, which I think is always the right answer in general. I copy that myself, so I practice what I preach. Since then, we've been fighting in some way, shape, or form. But from 2020, give or take, until 2024, open revolt, civil war, aggressive bloodbath. And the party has not recovered yet. So Democrats, Republicans have not gone there yet. They might go there. Who knows? They might. Yes. All righty. Rick says, except for the big, beautiful debt bomb bill, Trump's presidency is easily reversible through the executive powers that affected it. I think that's true. And I don't like that. I agree with you, Rick. I think that's true, and I don't like it. I think it's like the idea of the dreamers, right? Some of the things that Obama did with his executive order weren't bad things. Some were, but not all of it. Some of the dreamer stuff was pretty good. Some of it was good. But it's all executive order, right? That should have been done through actual law to give people who are here an actual pathway to somehow become legalized, can't use any form of public assistance, got to check in every 2 years. These weren't bad things, right? These were not bad things. But to your point, they should not have been executive orders. He should have been able to get Congress to make that work. So, yeah. Kim, thank you for $2. Appreciate it, Kim. Thank you so much. Super chats, always welcome. Thank you so much. And guys, if you want to help out, you can always click the button known as like. That always helps. If you want to share or repost this, you can. If you don't share or repost it, you want civil strife. There we go. Yes. Otherwise, yes, please follow me on Facebook, X, and Rumble. Those are always helpful. If you want to get your chat to the front, very easily, super chat me on YouTube or rent me on Rumble. Either of those two, we'll get it right to the front. I'll pick it right up, and boom, we are rocking and rolling. If you want to become a member, you do it also. If you want to, membership, click that join button, $49 per month. It's $5. Come on, to see me, that's worth it. Once $5 a month, easy. That's a cup of coffee in most cities. Easy day. I appreciate that. There we go. So thank you for that. That super chat. I do appreciate it. And also, I'm looking over at Rumble. Got a rant from JJ. Thank you for $2. Hearing a bit of concern from the Carlson micro-riddy that they would prefer to lose with white supremacy light than win with Ramaswamy and racial minorities. Oh, I'm not sure, but I think I get what you're saying. I think what you're saying is certain people don't want to bring in Ramaswamy. I think that's true. I think, again, look, I'm very forward about this. I think the vast majority of Republicans are no more racist or not racist than anybody else on the planet. That's not a thing. In fact, they're probably Americans. I think, honestly, when you compare them to other nations as a whole, are less racist than other people in other nations as a whole. That may be controversial, but I've been around the world. If you're around, I think when you compare them, less. But there are racists in the Republican Party. They exist. It's true. And I think those people, you're right, do not want Ramaswamy. What was that? Oh my God, what was that woman? I've forgotten her name. The tall, thin, blonde woman who wrote all those books. Oh, geez. Ann Coulter. She said to his face, I can't vote for you. You brown. She was like, you're Indian. I can't vote for you. She literally said that. She didn't trust him. So I do think that's true. But I don't think that's most Republicans. I think a lot of Republicans like Ramaswamy tremendously. I saw it when he came to the Libertarian Party convention. A lot of people liked him personally. I think people think he's a good guy. People like him. So I think, yes, there's a section of the Republican Party that does not want him because he's brown. That's true. But I think most Republicans would support him. He would have a chunk of people against him, yes. But I do think that overall, if he could win the Republican nomination, he could win an election. I think he could. I do think so. I mean, think about it. They had that Bobby Jindal, right? Popular Indian, won in Louisiana, governor, twice, right? I think twice. So yeah, I think it can be done. That candidacy does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I don't think it's large enough that would stop him. So yeah. Kim goes on to say, thank you. Get your cameras and let's go fight the war. There we go. Let's go do it. I think we're in. That's it. Get the cameras. I love that. That's actually pretty good. I do like that. So, alrighty. Kay-John says she has dog and pony to distract from the Epi files. Yes, and yes. 100% yes. Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. So Mike says Mamdani is not a Democrat. He's a socialist using the shell of the Democratic Party as his own ideology. Won't win a Sharpe election. Here's the issue, though. That's the whole thing, man. The Democratic Party, the fight is, do they go more socialist? Is socialism going to work in the Republican Party? Now, so if you believe in economic socialism, are you going to be able to get that to work in the Republican Party? No. Now, could you maybe get a socialist in certain areas in a primary to exist and lose a primary? Yeah, you could. I mean, in theory, you could probably get someone to sign up as a socialist and run the Republican primary and lose. That could happen, but that's as far as you're going to get. But Democrats have shown that they will elect socialists. Remember India Walton in Buffalo. It has happened before. Bernie Sanders. It has happened before. So this is not crazy at all, Mike. This is what he should be doing. It's the right answer for him. And a lot of Democrats, they want the party to go that way. Now, is it majority? I think no. But it's a better chance than Republicans. And what better city than New York if you're going to pick a city to do it? I mean, maybe San Francisco, maybe, but I mean, good choice. So he is Democrat. He's absolutely Democrat. He's just trying to move. That's like saying that because someone's an evangelical, they're not a Republican. Where else are you going to get evangelicals to move forward? Now, evangelicals now are a smaller part of the Republican Party than ever. They're a smaller part, and the least influence now, but that wasn't always true. There were times when evangelicals had tons of power in the Republican Party. They don't have as much now, but they used to. Same thing. Yes. Are you going to say that evangelical is not a Republican? Of course they are. The odds of an evangelical getting their movement moving forward in the Democratic Party, slim to none. I mean, again, could evangelical run in a primary someplace in the Democratic Party? Sure. But the odds of them winning? Non-existing. So, over on Rumble, SharpFan12 says, yes, racism still exists, and it comes in many forms. Let's face it, though. Harris got more votes only because she's a woman of color than votes against her only because she's a woman of color. She got more votes for her because she was a woman of color than against her because she was a woman. SharpFan12, that's brilliant, and I agree. I think you're right. I hadn't thought of it that way. That's actually pretty smart. Yeah, so the idea of her being a woman of color actually probably garnered more votes than it pushed away people. I think that's true. I think the people who might have thought, I'm not going to vote for her because she's a woman of color, those people already went Republican. Like, they already went there, right? So, yeah, I think you're right. They already went there. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's probably true. I think it's probably true. Because I know a lot of people who thought that, you know. Good point. Good point. All right, let me keep going down here if I can. All righty. Rick says, Clinton also ended Glass-Steagall, which some blame for the 2008 crash. I blame for that. I agree. That was the worst thing Clinton did. Ending Glass-Steagall was the worst thing he did. 100%. Rick goes on to say Clinton was a deregulation president. He ended it. I think when it came to deregulation became popular under Reagan. Reagan made it like, yeah, see, we can do this. It's cool to do this. Clinton was like, hold my beer. Let me show you something. I think, yes, I agree with you. He was, and people think Clinton was like some lefty president. Clinton, okay, let me be very clear about Clinton. Clinton did talk an amazing game. When it comes to charisma, hard to beat Clinton. I mean, come on. If you were around the 90s, whether you like Democrats or not, seeing that guy put the sunglasses on and play the saxophone on Arsenio Hall late night show, that was cool. That was cool. It just was. You can act like it wasn't and say, no, it wasn't. You're lying. It was cool. He had charisma. I didn't vote for the guy, but it doesn't matter. I can still say what he had. He had the women loved him. The men loved him. The guy had charisma. So yes. And he talked a great game. And people thought, oh, he feels my pain, Rick. He would never deregulate something that would hurt me because he feels my pain. He loves me. He's cool. He's a girl dad. There's no way he could be a bad guy. Well, I think we know that wasn't true. But yes, he did talk well. Yes. John says, Republicans are disgruntled because many wanted many promises and they're not getting home runs. They're getting pity points like the BBB. True. This. I think we're on the same page, John. Republicans are upset because they thought they won the war. Now they want the spoils of war. And I'll give you the example that some of you may have heard before. I've told this story many times. I love this story. All right, it's an old story. The Russo-Japanese War of 1903 to 1905. I think that's the time. I get confused. It was a Sino-Japanese War also, which I think was right before that. If I'm not mistaken, that was 1898. In that area was a Sino-Japanese War. And for those of you who know, Sino, it means Chinese. So yeah, that was a war right before it. Then the Japanese fought the Russians in 1903, 1905, and they fought the final peace. The Japanese foreign minister goes to Russia to do the final peace after the Japanese sink the Russian fleet in the Battle of Tsushima. So they sink the fleet. This by the way is the Baltic Sea Fleet, meaning the Russian fleet left St. Petersburg in Europe, went all the way around Africa, came up to Japan to beat the Japanese. The Japanese sank the Navy, and the Russians were like, okay, I guess we can talk peace. The war was so bloody, so many Japanese had died. Remember, this is 1900. This is World War I fighting before World War I. So they're still doing charges with bayonet charges against machine guns, both sides. It is bloody. We should have seen what World War I was going to be like from that war, but we ignored them because, of course, they're Eastern Europeans and Asians. They're not cool like us Europeans. That's what Europeans thought. So we ignored it. But anyway, I'm yapping away. The war is so bloody. The foreign minister goes to Russia to sign the deal, whatever the peace treaty. So they signed the peace treaty. The foreign minister comes back, and it's not good enough. The Japanese are so angry, to your point, John. They're like, we fought this war. My son died. My grandson died. My brother died. My husband died. I couldn't get the bodies back because we're fighting in damn Siberia. What is wrong with you? We want, amazing things for Japan. And he got, I guess we'll stop fighting, is basically what the treaty said. I guess we'll stop fighting. That was kind of the treaty. So they killed him. The foreign minister was killed. They were that unhappy. So, yeah, they won, and they thought, we get the spoils of war. And he was like, I couldn't get the spoils of war. They said, well, you go in the box then. That's how that worked. So, yeah, the Republicans are not happy. Correct. I went way off topic on that one, John. That's your fault. I'm going to blame you for that. That's your fault. I just blame somebody else. See, if I blame somebody else, I feel better. There we go. Okay. Let me keep walking down the road if I can. Alrighty. NY Liberty says, how is it that New York City mayoral election is one Republican running against 3 Democrats? It's the same for New York 24. 10 years running against 3 Democrats. What's going on with Democrats? That's my point. They're in a civil war. That is my point. They're in a civil war. Yes. That's where they are right now. They're trying to figure this thing out, right? I think 10 is going to win easily, right? I know Claudia. Full disclosure, I know Claudia personally. I like her. She's a friend of mine. So I do know her personally. Full disclosure. But I think she's going to win. I know it's 3 Democrats is great. They'll all raise money or I guess become popular for something else or whatever. But I don't see Tenny losing. I mean, maybe, but unless they redistrict her. If they redistrict her, and I mean, it's a possibility. If I were Democrats and I wanted to get rid of Tenny, I wouldn't run 3 Democrats against her. I'd redistrict her and I'd put Ithaca in her district. That's what I would do. And then why you know what I'm talking about. You put Ithaca in her district, she's in trouble. For those who don't know, Ithaca is deep blue. It is literally it's Cornell's town, college town. So yeah, deep blue. You put that in her district, that's how you get rid of Tenny. Not by running 3 Democrats against her. She'll beat all 3 Democrats. She's a savvy politician. She's done this before. She's both won and lost tight races. Tenny's no fool. I know a person, full disclosure. Claudia is no fool. She knows how to run a campaign. She knows how to do stuff. She can read the room. The only way you beat her is you put Ithaca in her area. The problem is if you pull Ithaca in that, you then take Ithaca out of someone else's territory, which might become red. Ithaca is the blue turner. So you got to decide who you want when you redistrict. And you might go, Larry, that seems completely unethical to just move a city around to get rid of people. Yes, it is unethical. And what they do here in New York. Unethical and the way it is. Correct. Both of those things are true. So anyway, thank you. Let me keep moving on if I could. All right, I think I got most of these that I wanted to for that one. All righty. Dave says, I'm taking a break from the Libertarian Party. I understand why. I'll wait until they pick on 2028, whether or not the Libertarian candidate drops out after winning the nomination in exchange for a counter position. I don't think that will be happening. I don't see that. I cannot see that be happening. I mean, is it possible? Maybe. I don't see it. Remember, most people who get the nomination know what they're doing, meaning they know they're going to fight to the end. So, yeah, yes. John says, I'm on board with Vivek as governor in Ohio. I think a lot of people are. I do. Again, Missy says, Ann Coulter is an idiot. Well, look, as always, I try to give credit where credit is due. Ann Coulter, there's a couple things about her that are very good. Number one, she is fearless. I got to give her that. She will go into any debate with anybody. She believes in what she believes. She is fearless. That's a good thing. I'll give her that. Second, she predicted Donald Trump before anybody else did. So much so that Bill Maher had her on. I think her and Bill Maher dated. I don't know that, but I think that's true. They have like a chemistry with each other. I think like he dated her. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but that's only my gut. I don't know if it's true. If anyone can do some homework, if there's like some gossip thing on that. But anyway, he brought her back and gave it up Makudo saying, you called it before anybody else did. So there's that at least. See, Missy, not everyone's all bad. There we go. They're not all bad. So there's something there. There we go. All righty. Let me keep going on. All right, I think I grabbed that piece already. All right, I covered a bunch of that. Let me go to the next piece if I could. All right, I want to now cover the Republican side if I could. I covered the Democratic side. Actually, before I go there, Kim's talking about the idea of this kind of being like a distraction, right? A show. Yeah, because there's crisis coming. And so what am I going to bring up when I'm talking about things like crisis and such? Well, I think you probably already know. I'm going to start talking to you about civil. Civil right now, as you go to civil, as I always tell you to go to, there's always something cool to talk about and to share. And this one here is how to lose our economy in a crisis. Yes, freedom over fear. That is very challenging. It absolutely is very challenging. Look, what I always say is most of the time, Americans don't just give their freedoms away. They happily give them away in exchange for safety because we're afraid. I'm afraid, so take it away. We see that constantly. And this is a whole piece just about that from Free the People. Yes, freedom.
After more than 2 years of suffering through COVID-19, pandemic, brutal lockdowns, riots, shortages, and exploding murder hornets.
Remember the murder hornets, everybody?
The American economy is now collapsing under a plummeting stock market and the worst.
Well, now it isn't right now, but that was then.
Inflation we've seen in decades.
Yep.
The average price of gasoline has shot past $5 a gallon.
And this is going to talk to you about how it happens and how we lose it in the crisis. How the government makes things worse, how the government does this, how so often is when we as humans want to bounce back, when we as humans, as people, as communities want to support ourselves, it is very often government that comes in and makes stuff worse under the guise of security. We lose our freedoms for safety. We don't get the safety and we don't get our freedoms back. We get neither. That happens again and again and again. And there's so many things you can see on civil like this. What I'm asking you to do, head over to civil.com, CIVL.com, sign up. When you sign up, upper right-hand corner is going to be the green part. Click that little green shaded part and put in capital Larry. Larry, that is my name. Yes, it is the coolest name out there. That is the cool name. You're going to put that in there. You're going to get 50% off for the first year. 50% off, $25 a year. Dirt cheap. Come on now. Totally worth it. And here's the best part. Tomorrow's show, Wednesday show, 7 p.m. is only on civil. And Wednesday show is all about fixing something. And tomorrow, I have on two very special people from a very special institute in Philadelphia. I will tell you about it a little bit later when time comes. And they are absolutely going to be telling you how to actually fix our kids. Yes, fixing our kids, specifically when it comes to intelligence and education, how to fix them. They have an institute that makes it happen, that can help you make it happen. That's tomorrow, 7 p.m. only on civil. civil.com. The code is capital LARRY, Larry, 50% off. Jump on there if you can. They are a sponsor. And I am on the network. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I know you guys are like, what? I can't believe it. It's true. All right. So while I went there, let me now move over, if I could, to this is now Republicans. This is their issues. Now, Republicans are also, right, in a little bit of a civil war too. And what's the biggest issue for them right now? I think you know what that is. This is Jasmine Crockett, who is always happy to yell about Trump whenever she possibly can. So it's MSNBC, the go-to person.
A part of the grand jury process, but he did not do that. So I think that that's the real game here, is it allows him to absolve himself of trying to help out when I know that the real shtick here is that he knows, or he's at least been informed, that that actually may be a really high bar to meet, and that's what he wanted to do.
What are your Republican colleagues telling you, whether it's OTR?
Are Republicans talking to her?
Or even just flat out discussing this? And do you think there will be a vote next week, whether or not to require these grand jury documents to be released?
I absolutely think that they are going to run away with this as quickly as possible. We saw a number of Republicans that just skipped a previous vote this week.
And I brought that piece up. Republicans skipping votes. Republicans skipping. There is no difference in that than Democrats deciding to not talk about Mamdani. Same issue. A lot of Democrats don't know where Mamdani is going to land. They don't know what side of the war to be on. And here's the part that bothers me. And it shouldn't bother me, but it does. If you're a Democrat, you should decide, hey, I agree with Mamdani, and I think that we should go more economically left. I think socialism is the answer. So I'm jumping on board and I'm backing Mamdani, right? That's you in theory, if that's what you believe, right? And to give de Blasio credit, you guys know I hate de Blasio. He was a terrible mayor. But I told you guys years ago, some of you didn't believe me. De Blasio is a true believer. And I told you years ago, Cuomo was not. I told you Kathy Hochul was not a true believer. That's why they fight. So what happens when Mamdani runs? Who jumps on the side? De Blasio. Of course he does. Now, again, you can hate de Blasio, as I do. The man is honest. He's straight up. He's like, no, this is where we should go. Socialism is the answer. He believes it. He's a true believer. He jumps on the Mamdani train. If you're a Democrat and you're a socialist, jump on the Mamdani train. At least have the courage, I will say that the courage to, or have beliefs. The sad part is most of these guys don't have any goddamn beliefs. They don't believe anything. So that's why they're waiting. What side should I be on? Now, Cuomo is not a socialist. He's a Cuomoist. So of course he jumps on the establishment side. He has no problem attacking Mamdani. Of course he doesn't. Because Mamdani's in a way of him in being in power. So he's like, I'm going to attack anybody in my way. I will grab any butt that needs to be grabbed. I will kill any grandma I need to kill. That's Cuomo. He doesn't matter. He doesn't care. Now, again, I'm not a Cuomo fan, but you see where he is. The worst are the people who are hanging out in the middle. And Republicans right now are doing the same thing. Are you on the side of Trump? Are you on the side of Massie? Which one are you in this case? When it comes to EpiPen, the Epi-files, you're on one or the other, right? Do you think it's the right answer? You jump on the Massie file. You don't, you jump on the Trump train. Either one. No, they're escaping. This is the Republican equivalent of not deciding whether you like Mamdani or not, right? Same thing. They don't know who's going to win and they're concerned. Now I'm going to pull off Crockett. But she's the go-to for them, right? That's how it works. You know it's going to work. So let me now go to the next piece for the Democrats trying to force a vote, which by the way is very savvy. This part's savvy for the Democrats. I got to give them it. This is. I'm going to give the Democrats again credit. This is a good deal for them. They should be doing this. It's the right answer for them.
The Department of Justice today says it plans to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, in the coming days. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year prison sentence for her role in enticing and recruiting underage girls to be sexually...
But doesn't matter because I thought there was no crime. So she was obviously convicted wrongly, right?
...abused by Epstein. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says he plans to meet with Maxwell, saying in a statement, if Ghislaine...
He's going to buy a new suit first, though.
Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims. The FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say.
Your deputy...
Okay, shouldn't you have asked those questions before you put her in jail? I'm just saying, right? Shouldn't you have kind of asked those questions before you put her in jail? Look how sad Steve Miller looks. He's sad because he's like, why aren't we building camps? Why do we care about EpiPen when we should be building camps? He is very mad they're not building camps. He's pissed.
Attorney General is reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney.
He's like, why won't they wear the armbands I brought them all?
Asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
Blanche is Trump's former personal attorney.
He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's
of course you don't.
It's sort of a witch hunt.
Maxwell's lawyer today telling ABC
It's a
News,
witch hunt now.
I can confirm that we are in discussions with the government and that Ghislaine will always testify truthfully.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more time. Shouldn't you have gotten this information before you put her in jail? Am I wrong on this? Shouldn't she testify before she's in jail?
On Capitol Hill, among the bipartisan calls to release all of the Epstein files,
put up or shut up.
There is new Republican infighting as Kentucky.
More infighting. Here it is. And this is the Massie side, right? Now you should be one. All I'm saying is jump on one side. Go, hey, let them all out. Or no, Trump is right. This is dumb. Don't do it, right? And then you could be with Miller and you could go to buy armbands and build camps.
Congressman Thomas Massie tries to force House Speaker Mike Johnson to hold a vote on the House floor, compelling the DOJ to release the files.
I told you guys that Mike Johnson was the perfect guy for this. This is why Trump wanted him. Some of you guys are like, oh, he's too establishment. He's no. I said he's just establishment enough. Some of you remember me saying that. You've been on watching this show for a while. I said this when they were first fighting. I said he's just establishment enough. And he has proven to be exactly that.
President's staff, administration, his own children, his vice president have promised that these files would come out. And
True.
Now we're being told it's a hoax. It just doesn't wash.
Speaker Johnson.
Massie's amazing. I'm Team Massie, 100%. I am team. And again, full disclosure, I know Massie personally, met him many times, love him. I'm Team Massie, 100%. Full disclosure, I know him, so I don't want you to be like 100% Team Massie. I've never met Mike Johnson, so I don't know. He might be a nice guy. I don't know. But I know he's establishment. That I could tell.
Massie of playing political games.
Let me just say about Thomas Massie. Could you just accept my Southern, bless his heart, okay? I don't know what else to say about it. We're for maximum transparency. We're engaging.
That's a lie.
In that right now, and we don't need political games.
Congressman James Comer of Republicans says he plans to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell as soon as possible. A spokesperson for Comer says they will work with the DOJ and the Bureau of Prisons to find a date when she can be questioned. Perry Russell, ABC News.
So now, there we go. That is a big chunk of the Republican side right there. Now, what is that? You might go, wait a minute. That seems like Trump isn't on the side of the outsiders. That's the problem. This is why Republicans are so angry. Republicans are angry because he's supposed to be the outsider. He's supposed to be the guy who says, release all the files, transparency, everything. That's who he's supposed to be. But he's not, is he? All of a sudden, Trump became establishment all of a sudden overnight. Oh, EpiPen? Listen to the DOJ. Yes, all of a sudden now, he's like Mr. Establishment. So yeah, I kind of get, yeah, why that is. So, any case, that was kind of interesting. I thought you guys might enjoy that piece. And the last piece I want to bring up, this is another piece where there's a little bit of a, this part I think, and I'm disappointed in this one. This is the distraction piece that just popped up here. And this is,
moving to an ugly new low, even for him. He's making a claim that will be heard the world over.
Obama now is a traitor, I guess.
Reviving an old and familiar.
I mean, he already was, but officially now.
A rather tired tactic of accusing a perceived political enemy of treason. Mm-hmm. Only this time, the subject was his first-term predecessor, former President Barack Obama.
The leader of the gang was President Obama. He's guilty. It's not a question
of treason.
I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election.
Mm-hmm. Now, why would this happen?
He made that baseless, unsubstantiated, rather ludicrous accusation today in the Oval Office.
Now, by the way, the woman talking is supposed to be a journalist. As she goes, baseless, ludicrous. You could just say what he did, but this is MSNBC. Now, that's the part where I say I actually prefer MSNBC. Why? Because they're just open about it. They just go, Trump sucks. Everything he says is wrong. Democrats are always right. Republicans are always wrong. No matter what. You don't like that? Why are you watching us? And I get it. Like you know what you're getting when you watch MSNBC. You are getting Democrats are always correct. Republicans are always wrong. In fact, they're all evil. That's just how that works. And that's that. That's where it is. So she's not even saying he did this. It's basic. She's deciding how it's all wrong before anything happens. That is the norm. Just saying. That is the norm.
It follows baseless, unsubstantiated claims from his director of national intelligence.
She's even giggling as she says it because it's so dumb.
Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard said that President Obama's officials engaged in a, quote, seditious conspiracy and hid.
Now, here's the part that's interesting about this. Why would she do this? I like Tulsi. I do. I met her team more than once when she was considering running independent. Her people had called me. We had conversations. Met him in Hawaii. Nice stuff. However, why would she do this? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because remember, she was the one who said Iran wasn't doing anything. Oh, that didn't go over. Remember that? She's the one who said Iran was not building a bomb. Remember that? I mean, she was right. They're not. It's all other garbage and we shouldn't have bombed them. But that's fine. Doesn't matter. She said that. And she wasn't supposed to say that. So she went, oh, I screwed that up. You know what? I got Obama's traitor. And Trump went, oh, all is forgiven. All is forgiven. And good timing, too. EpiPen's out. And Obama's a traitor? Amazing. Well done. Right back in. Right back in. But you know what also started happening all of a sudden? Now there's a movement now. I think it's Josh Hawley, who's trying to make it to where the DNI, Tulsi, can't talk to the public anymore. I'm not joking. They're trying to fight her now. They're trying to fight her. They're trying to fight RFK Jr. So now internally, Republicans are like, wait a minute. We got a problem here. Other people who aren't us, meaning establishment Republicans who've been here. Remember, Tulsi's a new Republican, and RFK Jr. is still not even a Republican. So they can't get stuff. We have to. So now they're fighting her too. I just thought you guys might enjoy that piece. That's what's happening throughout the entire thing. That part keeps going. So by the way, Mike is let me know there's a poll up. Yes, there is. And the poll asks 4 questions. If you head over to Sharpe Way YouTube, there is a poll on Sharpe Way YouTube. It says, which party survives and/or thrives after the 2026 party wars? Dems lose to various socialists. Republicans switch to America First. Libertarians rise in popularity. Zero change. Establishment wins. Please go ahead over there and vote if you don't mind. Please do so. That would be amazing. So thank you, Mike, for putting that for putting that reminder up. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Let me keep going through some of these. I know I put through a lot of these, but I just want to see. All righty. Ganjan says, Ann Coulter is a damaged soul. Her father probably did more reading bedtime stories at night. Hurt people, hurt other people. Well, I don't want to go that far about her dad. I don't know if that's true. Is that you guessing, or is that something real? That sounds kind of harsh. I don't want to attack her dad that way. But I do think Ann Coulter is angry. I think that's true. I think she is angry, and that's one of the reasons why she acts out so much. I agree with you on that. I'm not sure it's her dad, though. I mean, it's kind of a push one. Phil, thank you for $2. Justin Amash and a peace message could win 5% in 2028. True. I agree completely. Yes. The Republican Party was supposed to be the party of peace, the anti-war party. It was supposed to be that last year. A lot of people voted for that. A lot of people thought it'd be the anti-war party. Tulsi Gabbard was leading that. She was leading that concept of anti-regime change wars, anti-war. She was leading it. And I think a lot of people voted for Trump because they thought that was going to happen. That has been very disappointing. Trump was talking about ending all the wars. Remember, 24 hours going to end the wars. I think you're right. Now, can a peace message win the election? No, I think it can. But you're right. Did Trump get a big chunk of votes, whatever that chunk was, 5, 10%, whatever, I don't know, whatever it was, because of the peace message? I think, yes, he got a chunk. I think you could get 5% with Amash and a peace message. I think you could. And Amash has lost people in Gaza. For those who don't know, Amash is Palestinian. He's Christian Palestinian, but he's Palestinian, and he actually lost people, family members. I think nieces, if I'm not mistaken, in the Gaza war. So if anyone could deliver that message, you're right. It's him. Absolutely. So I'm with you, Phil. I hope he takes you up on it, and I hope he does it. I hope he takes you up on it, and I hope he does it. That would be amazing. So, yes. All righty. Let me keep grabbing some more of these if I can. All right. Mike says, Ramaswamy has a good shot at winning in Ohio, and then the 2032 run for president. If he wins in Ohio, that would mean 2032 maybe, or 2036. Either one. I could see either of those. Depends how well he does in Ohio. Yeah, I think that's true. Thank you, Phil, over on Rumble for the $1. I do think that Tulsi is more right than not. They left behind a stay-behind force to cause an impeachment and a regime change here. A little hyperbole, but no. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no. No, she's not 100% anti-war, but she's far more anti-war than most Republicans and more anti-war than all Democrats. I think that's true. She is more anti-war than most. I think that's true. So, yeah, I agree with that part. And I would add another piece. Tulsi Gabbard she has a lot of Republican-leaning thoughts, a lot of right-leaning policies. I think you're right, she does. But she was in Hawaii. And in Hawaii, the Democratic Party runs everything just like in New York. So you can't win an election being a Republican. You have to be a Democrat. So, yeah. Her father was Republican. So, yeah. All righty. The Damonizer over on Rumble says, Obama committed real treason when he armed al so-and-so in Syria. But we don't talk about it because Trump's a fan of Giuliani's strong past. It's a valid point. A lot of people, I don't know if I'd call it treason. But if you remember, the military-industrial complex always wants to arm people no matter what. And I think the military-industrial complex also wants to leave stuff there so they can keep fighting, right? And here's what you might say, well, Larry, why did they want to do that? Here's why. If we leave a bunch of American equipment in any given war zone and people start fighting with American weaponry, how do they want to be rearmed? With American weaponry. That's what they've been trained on. American 5.56 ammunition, right? American M16s or AR-15s, right? American AT-4s, whatever we've given them, right? American vehicles, right? 81 millimeter mortars, whatever. They want those same things. So that's why. But if they're sitting there with the AKs, well, they got to go buy AKs. We don't make AKs. The Chinese make AKs. The Russians make AKs. That's why they don't want AK. So that's the reason why they do it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying, but there is a logic behind it, right? There is a logic behind it. It keeps it going. So yes. Morgan says, major parties have much more brutal and intense fights than libertarians. They just do a better job of hiding it. There's part of that. There is part of that. I would agree. Yeah, there's part of that. Yes. I think some of that's true. But now, because of social media, Morgan, I think it comes out more. I think it comes out more. Yeah. Otter HC says, a lot of my friends across the political spectrum have been increasingly open to libertarian principles, especially voluntary aid type programs, hoping this is a sign of post-party Civil War future. I hope you're right. Look, here's what I know. The more people that I talk to about libertarian ideals, when I talk about actual policies, the more people like it. Some people don't like it, but more and more do. I agree. I think the answer is, are we saying, hey, liberty is great and that's it? Or are we saying, here is an actual answer? That's the issue. Here's an answer. I'm hoping for an answer. So Andrew says, I think I'm feeling black pill today. That's okay. I'm going to gold pill you because there is a chance for us to make impact coming up here. There is. What this actually means, the civil war between the Republicans, civil war in the Democrats, means that more Americans are open to another answer. That's what it means. People don't like when their parties fight. They like when their parties fight against the other. They love that, right? Remember, I never forget this. When Biden in the 2020 election said he was going to take Trump out back and beat him up, whatever he said, right? Oh my God, Democrats could not hold their glee. They loved that. They were like, yeah, you're going to beat up Trump, take him out back and beat him. They love that, right? They love it. So when your side's fighting the other side, oh, they love that. That's great. Internal wars, people don't like. It makes them unhappy. It feels disjointed. If you ever notice what each side always says, Republicans will always go, the Democrats are lockstep. They know what they're doing. We're always fighting each other. Where the Democrats always go, Republicans are lockstep behind Trump. It's a cult. They all follow behind him. We're always fighting each other. Neither one is right. But they always say that because they're mad, because they hate when they're fighting internally. They want to be lockstep. And they know that neither party is. Neither party is. So, yeah. All right, let me keep grabbing down here if I can. All righty. Amber says, if anyone has an explanation for why Trump accuses China of meddling in the 2020 election is okay, but Democrats accusing Russia of meddling in the 2016 isn't. I would love to hear it. Yeah, it's my team, Amber. I wish it was anything else. When my team says it's bad, it's okay. When your team says it's bad, it's wrong. It is literally that simple. That's simple. That's how it works. So if I say, and I joke a lot about the Yankees, right? Because I'm a Yankee fan, but I don't always follow the Yankees. It's almost like a religion for me, right? I grew up outside the Yankee Stadium, so I've always liked the Yankees. So I would say, okay, if the Yankees are not in the playoffs are invalid. No logic on that, Amber, at all. I just say it. Will the Yankees in the playoffs? No, it's invalid. Why? Yankees weren't there. What? I don't care. That's just true. I just announce it to be true because I'm a Yankee fan, and therefore it's true. And whenever the Yankees lose the World Series, somebody cheated. Why? 'Cause Yankees. That's the reason. Just so you understand that. 'Cause Yankees. If they lose the World Series, somebody cheated. Why? 'Cause I say so. 'Cause Yankees. So why is it okay for my guy to say something's wrong? 'Cause my guy. Your guy? No, not my guy. That is the reason. So at least I hope that's understandable. That's how it works. So yes. Amber goes on to say, Speaker Mike Johnson is shutting down the House floor and setting it to an early 5-week summer recess to block Democrats from voting on any motions related to the release of the EpiPen files. True. That's accurate. And that's my point. This is not good for them. Here's what Trump is hoping. And it might work. It's possible it will work. Trump is literally saying, let's table this, say it's nothing there, and then do a full court press on everything else to hope that eventually the press moves away and people move away and just keep moving forward. It could work. How could it work? If they really push something really big. I don't like that. But it could work. My gut says it won't work. My gut says EpiPen's not going away. And it goes back to the kids. As Americans, as humans, and this may not make logical sense, but Amber, I hope you see it makes emotional sense. When you harm or kill or maim or imprison adults, we go, that's bad. Next. When you start doing stuff with kids, we go, no, that's not a thing. No, you don't get to get away with that. No, you don't. That's visceral in us. Like, no, you can't mess with kids. You can like beat up and kill and imprison adults all day long. We're like, whatever, I'm gonna go to work today, right? Whatever, we don't care. We didn't care. We didn't care about Gaza when it was just killing men and women. We didn't care. They're killing kids. What? The kids are starving. Pictures of kids blown to pieces. We were like, what? Picture of little girls crying. What? Now America cares. And you might go, but aren't all lives sick? Yes, all lives are important. I'm not. This is not logical sense. This is emotional sense. We don't like it. So I don't think EpiPen goes away. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Trump is making a big mistake, assuming that he didn't do anything with kids. If he did some shady stuff, which I think he probably did, most of these guys did, right? And shady not by my views. I mean, I'm libertarian. I don't care if you, as long as it's consenting adults, I don't care what you do. I don't. And I know some people disagree with me, but I don't care. If they're consenting, you're consenting, you do you, as long as you're adults. So if he did some of that stuff, which I would guess he did, like he probably had special ladies and things like that. So, and America is forgiving for that. But if it was kids, we are not forgiving on that one. We're not forgiving on that. But adults, we're forgiving. We are forgiving. That's how America is. If he did something not kids, let it out. Who cares? Let it out. Because it's looking now like it was him and kids. Only because of him holding it out. Not because there's evidence of that. I've seen no evidence of that. But it's, okay, why aren't you slinging it out? That's the issue. So anyway, I hope that makes sense at least. So, alrighty. Let me walk down here. Michael Avelov says, I worked in sales. I knew from the get-go Clinton was a BSer. Yes, he took a great game. He did. I campaigned for Jerry Brown in Columbus, Ohio in 1992. There we go. He was a good talker. You're right. Clinton was very good. And he still has good charisma now. I mean, obviously, he's older and isn't as smooth as he was. But I think back in the 90s, he was very good. Yes. Kim admits it. He makes me sick now, but back in the 90s, Clinton also had a very nice, smirky, flirtatious smile. True. I know some of you don't like Clinton. The guy was charismatic. It's just accurate. Yes, absolutely. Mike says, Clinton was yet another example that when people vote for empathy, they will get screwed. Politics is not empathy if it's to be effective. Dude, you and I talk about this all the time. It is empathy. It just is. People vote an emotion all the time. Like, I would bet most people vote an emotion. I don't know that. I don't have data on that, but I know a lot do. I would bet, if I had to bet, most people vote an emotion. And to not understand that is to not be effective in politics. Empathy is a critical part of influencing people. And that's what politics actually is. Politics is not empathy necessarily. It's not policy necessarily. It's influence. People often think, well, politics is like, campaigning is a job interview. No, it isn't. It's a marketing campaign. It's not a job interview. It's a marketing campaign. And the difference between marketing and operations, right? Sales and marketing and operations in business. Sales and operations, sales and marketing versus operations. People say, well, what's the difference? It's three parts to any business. Sales and marketing, operations, and administration. Administration is the most useless. Get rid of it to the best of your ability. Outsource to the best of your ability. Operations is actual servicing the customer in some way, shape, or form, giving them the product or the service. That's when the rubber hits the road. You have to be effective when it comes to operations. But sales and marketing is getting them to agree to make the purchase. You don't have to be good at that. You don't. You could be full of it and people buy your stuff. Now, if the operations suck, you pay a price for that. But in politics, there's no backsies. In sales and market, there is. So if Mike, you tell me how awesome you are as a consultant, and I pay you X thousands of dollars and you suck, I can sue you. I can stop paying you, right? Whatever. You said you were X, but you're actually Y. I can sue you or I can stop paying you. But in politics, once you're in, you're in. So it's all sales and marketing, dude. It's a marketing. It's what it is. Look, I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying it's true. It is. Sharpe fan says, because the Yankees can spend more money on free agents than any small market team combined. True. Yes. Yes. It is blatantly unfair. And they don't care. Yes and yes. Both true. Yes. Absolutely. So, all righty. Mastermind Hour says, Amber, I heard the actual evidence is a couple of Polaroids with Trump with two teens not wearing shirts on his lap. I hope that's wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know this. I haven't heard this. I hope that's wrong. I don't want that to be true, but it might be. If it is, he should pay a horrible price for that. Unless those teens were 19, in which case, fine. Those were adults. If the teen has a 9 in it, right? 1-9, totally fine. I don't have a problem with that. If it's like I don't want to say. Let's move on. So yes, Michael says, Larry, your yapping is a comfort to me. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. Absolutely. 100%. That's great. I do appreciate that. So, all right. I covered a bunch of those. I then want to go to, if I can, I have talked about civil. I want to talk about the advocates if I could. As you know, there is a link literally in the show description on Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. If you can head over to that, click that link, head on over to the advocates. I ask you all the time to take the world's smallest political quiz. Please take it if you like, if you haven't already. If you have taken it, please head over to their articles. You see it right here where it says articles. You see it right there, this is articles. Click on that. And this one talks literally about bipartisanship. Both sides. We talk about the left and the right. Here it is right here. Who hinder the entrepreneurial spirit. This was recent. This was this year. This was this month. Talking about how the regulations on both sides are trashing the entrepreneurial spirit. Now, most of that is Democratic. That's true in most cities. They talked about that earlier. But Republicans do it too. Read this. It's a short 5-minute read. If you like this article and you think it's interesting, then do me a favor and share it. Share this article out. Let other people see it so people will come to the advocates. It is theadvocates.org. The link is right there in the description. Please click that link so the advocates know it comes from here. That matters. I'm supporting them. Look, I could support lots of different places. I could be hawking gold or something like that, or Bitcoin, whatever I could be, right? Of course. But this is the stuff that I care about. This stuff matters to me. This is stuff that I read, that I care about, that I think is important, that I want spread. This is why I'm doing it. I'm not sitting there hawking something I don't believe in. I'm hawking something I believe in that I'm part of. I told you I'm part of civil. Yeah. So of course I'm hawking it. I'm telling you about the advocates. Yes, because I've taken this more than once and worked with them more than once. I use this test when I'm out, tabling at events. I use their test. Literally, I use their test. Yes. So this is what I'm saying. Please do so. Why? Because this gets people talking. This gets people thinking about to the point. Those, Andrew, you're talking about being black-pilled? Get people here that be gold-pilled. The more people talking about this, the better. The Advocates for Self-Government, theadvocates.org. Please head on over there. Click that over there if you would. It is very important to share it once you're done. Read it. If you like it, share. If you don't like it, I get it. Maybe it's a crappy article. You don't like it. Okay, no worries. But if you do, I like it. All right. Hope that made some sense as we keep moving down this road. So, all right. Let's see. Melissa says, Claudia was already redistricted and won in her new district. But yes, Ithaca will crush her. Yeah, I agree. Claudia's savvy. Again, I know her. She's wonderful. She can make it happen. She can. But yes, Ithaca's just, I think, too much. I think Ithaca will be too much for her. Yeah. Mike says they already did redistrict her, but she's safe for that. She is. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So Shelley says Ithaca has 3 very liberal colleges. True. And NY, ultra blue. Absolutely 100%. Yes. You guys all get it. So you all know this. So I'm preaching to the choir here. Yes. 100%. Robert says, I hope Black Americans stand firm on making demands from any party, be it Democrat, Republicans, or third parties. Black Americans need transformational politics. You're right. I agree completely, Robert. And what African Americans in America have done poorly is that we just kind of said, well, okay. If you've ever watched the TV show, HBO show, Boardwalk Empire, there is the guy who runs a guy named Enoch. He like runs Atlantic City, and he has to get votes, and it's a Black population. And the name of the character who kind of is like a leader in the Black community in the underground is a guy named Chalky. Yeah, something like that. That's his name. That in the movie, in the TV show, and he literally goes to these guys, goes, "What are you gonna give me for those votes? I'm gonna deliver the Black vote for you. What are you gonna give me?" He literally goes to the guy like a mob boss and says, what am I getting for these votes? Seriously. And you know what? It's actually not a bad idea. He's like, you're going to get me some jobs for my people. And the guy's like, yes, I'll get you the jobs here. Okay. And he delivers the Black vote for him. But you got to get the jobs or whatever is the thing. I'm with you, man. If you want my vote, what am I going to get? I'm not against it. I think you're right. I think that absolutely could happen. Should happen. It doesn't happen. What we've done is go, Republicans are racist, so I'll vote for Democrats, even though Democrats are just as racist. Okay. Yes. That's what winds up happening. So yeah. Alrighty. Michael's going to say Ithaca is critical for 19. And that's my point. If you move Ithaca out of 19 to 24, she's in 24, right? I think she's in 24. If you move to 24, then you probably lose 19. So yeah, you got to pick out where that's going to be. I completely agree. I think she's safe. I think she's safe. But I'm just saying, but that's what you would, if you thought she was a threat, right? That she was going to like end things or something, then you'd shove Ithaca into her gamble losing 19 and then just take out Claudia. That's what you would do if you wanted to. So yeah. Anyway. All right. So yes, I guess you guys get that. All right. I'm gonna grab a couple more of these if I can. Okay. Kim goes on to say Wednesday's Civil show was the best of our shop. Thank you. I appreciate that. So he says, can we watch Civil without being a member? No, you have to be a member. Sorry, guys. That's how it works. Ganjin says, MSDNC. True. Yes, true. Yes. But that's why, Shelly, I only do one show a week on Civil. Only. You can watch this show on Civil. All the shows you can watch on Civil, but that one is a Civil only show. That one show is a Civil only. So yes. Okay. All righty. Where's that? Joel says, where's Ghetto Jasmine Crockett? Look, I got to tell you, and I go back to this. Some people don't like her because she acts that way. The reality is Democrats need leadership. They need fighters. And they'll take some woman who's going to act ghetto just to get a fighter. They will. Yes. Ryan, thank you for $2. He says, I'm bipartisan. I despise both the GOP and the Dems. I like that. I like that. You are bipartisan. Yes. Hate them all. I love it. All righty. Let's see. Shelly says, AOC is from Yorktown Heights, the Bronx. Yeah, if I remember her story right, she did at one point, like when she was younger, one of her family members or her lived in the Bronx or something. And then she moved to Yorktown or something like that. But yeah, absolutely. Something like that. So, all righty. Let's see. Kim says, Larry, what are the purple crowns? Where did they come? They're purple crowns? I don't know what's going on. Do I have purple crowns someplace? Are there purple crowns someplace? I actually don't know. Hold on. Do I see them? Oh, yeah, I see purple crowns here. I don't know what they are. People have purple crowns, though. Yeah, Kim has purple crown number 1. Ryan has purple crown number 2. And Phil has purple crown number 3. It must be because you guys are members. It must be some cool member thing they've done. It must be that. Oh, no, it's top fans. It's top fans is what it is. Kim, you're the number 1 top fan. You got the purple crown. That's what it is. It's top fans. I just saw it. Ryan is top fan number 2. Phil is top fan number 3. Shelly is top fan number 4. Yes. And you guys got experience points. I'm not joking. You have experience points. I didn't know that was a thing. You just asked me. Now I'm telling you. So, yeah. There we go. Ooh, I like that. The chump train. That's amazing. I like that. That's good. Yes. I like that. All righty. That literally says, I stand grandly with Massie. Me too. I am with you. 100%. Yes. Robert goes on to say, oddly enough, I think Kamala struggled with Black American voters because she cloaked herself in Black Americans' history without having a serious agenda for Black American voters. Yes, and there's something else, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I won't be forward. Robert, there is a difference. Did you grow up with a Black family, right? Just because your skin is darker doesn't mean you understand the Black experience if you've grown up with a Black have a different relationship with many Black families too, because I grew up with a white mother and a Black father. There's a difference in growing with a Black father versus a Black mother. And the funny part is that the people who've been the Black people at the top level of the federal, many of them have only been raised by Black fathers, not Black mothers. So yes, interesting part. So anyway, yeah, I agree. There is a difference. It doesn't mean you can't get it, but yeah, there's a thing. All right. Phil says you get points for every chat and more for every super chat. Oh, is that right? There we go. Patty says, so Maxwell will end herself next. Jeez. Well, John says she's in prison for victimless crimes. So yes, true. There's no victims. So true. Yes. Yes. Ganjan says, Stephen Miller's wife got rid of the fact she was married to Stephen. Probably Musk's baby mama number 14. That's funny. I like that one. Schrodinger's conspiracy files. Yes, depending on how, when you look at them, they're changeable crimes. Or they may not even exist. Yes. Or they may not even exist. Absolutely. Either one of them is true. I completely agree. You never know which one it is. You never know. All righty. Literally says, okay, so what I'm hearing is I'm going to be opening my wallet to giving Massie again. I think we are. I've said it already. I've said it. If I think he's in trouble, I'm max donating to him. I don't care if they're going to debt. I will do it. I've said it publicly. I'm not playing. If I see next year he's in trouble at all, I'm max donating to him. And I'll do it for my entire family. So it'll be, I get to double up on it, right? Because it's $3,300 for a person, $6,600 for a family. I will double up. I will write that check. And if need be, I will show up and I will help him raise money. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, I'll keep moving. All righty. Keep going here. Rick says, Johnson, what a Johnson. Cute. Kim did say, Kim, you're right. Trump did say Maxwell should probably be pardoned. He did say that. Yeah, maybe then she'll shut up. But here's the problem people don't understand. Once you're pardoned, here's what people don't understand. Why they often don't want to pardon them. They'd rather commute or something like that. Here's the thing that people don't get. Once you're pardoned, you no longer have Fifth Amendment rights. Let me say it again. Once you're pardoned, you no longer have Fifth Amendment rights. Wait a minute, don't you always Fifth Amendment rights? No, only if you can incriminate yourself. But if you're pardoned, you can't be incriminated. There's no punishment. So you have to testify. Now, normally I don't have to. I can go, Fifth Amendment, I'm not testifying because I might get in trouble. Well, you're pardoned. So you can't get in trouble. So if I now subpoena you and you don't talk, that's contempt of court. You go to jail. Now, again, only if you're pardoned. That's why they don't always want to pardon. They'd rather commute or something. Because if he pardons her and then Congress later on, Democratic Congress later on, subpoenas her, she has to testify or she goes back to jail. Now she doesn't have to go, no, because if I testify, I'll go to jail, so I don't testify. I can, if I want to, plead the Fifth. What does that mean? That means now for her to testify, she needs a deal. So make that clear. Maxwell will get a deal to testify because she doesn't have to testify. Even if they subpoena her. If they subpoena her, she has to show up at court. That's true because she'd be subpoenaed. She does not have to testify because she can take the Fifth Amendment and go, I can incriminate myself. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't need to testify. So what are you going to give me to testify? Give me something, we'll testify. Well, what if Trump pardons her? Well, then she can't be incriminated anymore. Now they say, show up, testify. I don't want to. Jail. Well, Fifth Amendment, you don't get that because you're pardoned. You can't incriminate yourself anymore. So minor thing people don't always get. They should be thinking about that piece. So, yeah. Jay says, you can call me Ray or you can call me Ray. Oh, I remember that show. That was a Red Fox show? Is that right? From like the 80s or 70s? That got old fast. But she doesn't have to call me Johnson. Yes, correct. All righty. Let me walk down here some more. John says, if they are able to primary Massie out, it seems like a glorious opportunity to run him as a libertarian. No. It could actually prompt a Democrat to win that seat, but would send a strong message. No, Democrat would not win that seat, and I don't want Massie to lose. So no, I understand what you're saying, but I would rather Massie decide to run for president as a victorious congressman. No, I get what you're saying. Please no. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I get what you're saying. Please no. So yes. All righty. Massman says Trump pushed SCOTUS to make his crimes unpunishable. He knows it won't go anywhere. Agreed. Look, Obama. If anyone, and this is Republican porn. I'm not joking. This happens all the time. Every single time, Republicans are always like, and then the subpoenas are coming, and then Trump's going to do this, and then he's going to jail. All the time I hear this stuff from Republicans, particularly the more they're in their own bubble, the more Republicans will say this. Democrats don't say this. I don't know why. Only Republicans do. And then there's going to be a subpoena, and then they're going to get arrested. And then none of that's true. None of that's fantasy. None of that shit's true. Obama's not going to jail. That's not happening. And of course, I'm not even there. I should probably go visit. If you go, I'm sure, to any Republican like chat rooms or something, all like, yeah, then I'm sure there's going to be a subpoena, and then you'll see there'll be a grand jury. No, there's not. Just stop. Republicans, stop. You're not getting Obama, ever. Ever. You're not getting him. That's not a thing. That's fantasy for you guys. Stop. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, but I know that already people are saying it. They're going to be this. They're going to be this. There's going to be arrest, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, not going to happen. Not a thing. All right, I'm see if I can go here again. All righty. So Andrea says, Tulsi Gabbard is the traitor in the Dems. Yes. Oh, Dems hate her. You are right, Andrea. Her and RFK Jr., they are all absolutely all, they're all traitors. Yes. Yes. No difference in everyone who was saying like, all the Democrats going, Trump's going to be in jail. He'll do it from jail. And I told everybody, Trump ain't going to jail. I told you all Adams ain't going to jail. I told you all these things. They're not going to jail. It's not. Stop. That was Democratic porn. Trump's going to jail. No, he's not. And Republicans again thought Adams was going to jail. I said, no, he's not. I told you Adams wasn't going to jail. Last year, I told you he wasn't going to jail. He ain't going to jail. That guy might be mayor. Who the hell knows? Again, who knows? He might be mayor again. Who the hell knows? He ain't going to jail. That's not a thing. This is just, yeah. It's just not. I don't mean to be flippant, but like I keep telling you guys, it's not going to happen. That's not how it works. And people just laughing. Like, nah, you don't know. This is different. No, it's not. It's not. Anyway. All right. Andrew says, from Trump train to Tulsi train to Sharpe train. Sharpe train. I like that. Yes. Absolutely. Mastermind says, Tulsi always hedged her bets over saying over the horizon warfare. Yeah, look. Tulsi's savvy. Don't get me wrong. She's no dummy. Right? She's savvy. She has made a very good niche for herself. She has done Tulsi's problem, believe it or not, is that, and it's also an advantage. It's an advantage and it's a problem. And that she's an Army officer. What I mean by that, it gives her credibility. It gives her discipline. There are many good things about her being an Army officer, but the problem is she often communicates like an Army officer, not like a slick politician, and not even like a personal politician. She often communicates like an Army officer. If she could communicate less like an Army officer and more like a cool person you want to talk to, more like that, she's much better when she's just talking to people, right? That's where she shines, talking to people. But when she's in front of people, she very often goes into Army officer mode when she's like giving speeches. And if she would break that and be much more personal, like if you talk to her one-on-one, you see her like in group, she's much better. She's back and forth. When she gets in front of people, yeah, she's not as good. If you guys see me when I'm in front of you, I talk like I'm in front of you, like I'm in front of you. It doesn't matter. I speak the same way all the time. She doesn't. She gets in front of a crowd, she goes into Army officer mode. If she could break that, she'd be a lot better off if she can do that. I hope one day she can. I hope she can break it. I hope she can. So yes. All righty. Let's see. John says, I would prefer him being governor for 2 terms than Mississippi wins. That's my point, John. If he's doing well, I'd rather him stay. I'm with you. I agree. Him being a governor for 2 terms, way better than rushing to become president. Agreed. I said it. If I had won the governorship in 2022 and was like, you win 2022, run for president in 2024. I'm like, no. If I had won the governorship in 2022, I might run for president maybe 2032, right? I would do 8 years as governor, then give myself 2 years to run for president. That's what I would do if I were to do that. I wouldn't just, yeah. I'm with you. It's a better way. And now you could be president like 105. So I got plenty of time. Plenty of time. There we go. All righty. Walk down here if I can. John says, so we are leaving war machines like samples. Yes, John. I like that. Yes, I like that. That's good. All righty. Shelly says, Tulsi doesn't say libertarian, but she acts libertarian, much like Rand Paul. Depends. She has some libertarian leanings, but she's got some neocon stuff too. She does got some of that too. And some Democrat stuff too. She's got a lot of different. The problem is she doesn't fit well because her views are all over. Some are libertarian, some are neocon, and some are Democratic. Yes. So Ryan, thank you for $2. Some GOP are still ticked off at Obama for 2008. Yes. I wish that wasn't true. I wish they just gotten over it, but they haven't. You're right. Absolutely. So Kim says, more Americans are waking up to the show. Yes. Ymir says, Larry for governor. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes. We'll see what happens coming up here. We'll definitely see what happens coming up here. Yes. All righty. Okay. Kim goes on to say, both parties have been faced with the fact that the PDF files are protected, and it's going over like a lead balloon. Yes, Kim. See, you get this part, Kim. I mean, you've been talking about it, and you're right. Kids makes it different. It does. Kids makes it different. And again, logically, anyone could tell me, Larry, logically, people are people. True. But we don't like when it's kids. It is visceral. It is internal. We're like, no, we don't do it. Yes, we don't do it. So Shelley goes on to say, the reason most people are opposed to illegal immigration is the trafficking of children. Yes, it's the kids. You can't mess with the kids. Oh, what made so many people turn on the trans community? Most people didn't care. Most people did not care at all. They're like, whatever. But as soon as the right threw in, trans and the kids, all of a sudden, whoa, what's going on here with kids? That was the issue. It was kids. Kids changed everything. Most people didn't care about trans people either way. Oh, fine. You're trans, you're not trans, whatever. Most people were like, whatevs. They didn't care. But then the right brought in the kids, all of a sudden, changed. It's the kids. I say all the time. Yes. All right. Mike says, if the Dems are serious about the E-files, they would have already done something about it. They're taking advantage of the R's, taking the blame for glossing over the same thing to gloss over. 100% true. You think 100% true. They're going, oh, wait, we could blame this on Trump? Hell yes. You think they want to vote for it? They don't want to vote for it. You totally 100%. That's 100% accurate. But again, it is a smart move by Democrats. It just is, right? Again, I know some of you guys get mad when I say things that make your team, if you're on the left or the right, angry. But I'm still I'm trying my best to just call balls and strikes. I know I'm biased too. I know I am. I'm trying my best to call balls and strikes. Mike, you are correct. And it's a good move. I can respect the game. If I was Democrats, I'd be doing it too. I'd be right about, oh yeah, we've always cared about the files. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We always cared about transparency. No, you didn't. But it works. Like, it's helping. They are fueling that fire. But you're right. They could have released it during Biden's time. Totally correct. You're not wrong, Mike. I'm just saying it's smart though. Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So John says, Mike, they're pouncing on this because he's actively avoiding it and downplaying it. He's doing this to himself. Yes. John is also correct, Mike. Trump has screwed this up. He screwed this up. I think he has to somehow do something differently. He's not doing it right. Michael's going to go, as Larry discussed, and I am also mentioned, there's more to this than the public is thinking, like other governments and spy groups. That may be true, Mike. I'm not saying you're wrong on this. But Trump could even say that. He could say that. Or something similar to that. Just get himself out of this. He did not do a good job at all. He did not do a good job of this. His communication, he's made a couple communication errors. This is one of them. He has communicated poorly. And now he's going to jump out of it. But the problem is Trump's personality is so much about double, triple, quadruple down. The odds of him actually coming out of this are slim, but I feel like he's got to do something, right? Something. But he has screwed this up. He's communicated. And the second thing, as you know, I talk all the time, communicated, ending the wars in 24 hours. God, terrible communication. Bad communication. And the third thing he didn't do well communicating was how much pain there would be before the sunlight. That is what Milei did very well in Argentina. Milei was like, the first year is going to suck, guys. Just telling you. First year is going to suck. Then it'll get better. Trump did not do a good job of that. He did in my view, 3 errors in communication. Those are the 3. Did not let the American people know we're going to suffer for a while before it gets better. He wasn't clear on that. And in the wars in 24 hours, bad idea. And then this one too. Just not explaining what you just said. Why isn't he saying what you're saying? It's better than people thinking he was with kids. And that's what's happening. People are starting to think, was he with the kids? That's happening now. That's the worst. Whatever else, even if this is true, even if you would have, Mike, if you were to say, guys, I can't give it out. Here's why. It's cause this. It's cause whatever. I made some deal with some government. I can't. Even if he said that, we wouldn't like it. We might be pissed at it, but we wouldn't think he was with the kids. So if this is true, I'm not saying this could be true. This is reasonable. This could be true. If it is, he screwed up in his communication. That's what I'm going through. It was a mistake in communication, without question. He screwed that up. Yes. Ryan says, Bill Clinton had a ton of charisma, and they constantly beat the GOP. Much chagrin to my mother. It's true. And charisma matters. You can be mad, unhappy. It's true. Yes. 100%. So, all righty. Let me grab some more of these if I can. Patty goes, so in politics, the best actor wins. Are you an actor, Larry? Me? Of course. Of course. Here's the piece, Patty. I do this show live so much. I talk to people in person. So how many times have you and I met, Patty? 4 times, maybe? Well, I don't remember. 5? I don't know how many times we met. We met in person. We've sat together and talked, right? More than once. Most people here. John, I've met John 2 or 3 times. I've met a lot of people here, right? We've sat and talked. I go visit people sometimes, right? I go see them. And people see me at events. Because if I am that good of an actor, then I deserve to win if I'm not good of an actor. But I can't be, right? There's just no way. There's no way I could maintain the facade now for 8 years. I have been recorded. People have met me live for probably about 1,000 shows and probably about 1,000 events. I'm not making those, probably about that each. And you've all met me and talked to me. I would have to be the greatest actor ever in the history of the world. And if that's true, then I deserve to win because I'm that good of an actor. Oh my God. Otherwise, you're getting me. I do this so that you can see the real me. But do I act sometimes? You see me act sometimes. You've seen me act sometimes, right? But you also see something else. You also see me turn based upon where I am, right? I will talk spicy here on my show. It's a podcast. Have you ever seen me talk spicy? Ever? On a mainstream station? Never. And I've been on many of them. Have you ever seen me speak spicy when I'm out in public? Never. So is that an act? Maybe. That's me controlling my language. Sure. Do I focus on certain things? Yes. Libertarians get mad at this. When I would go to like cities, libertarians get mad because I go to a city and I would lead with like education. And there'd be somebody who's like a big Second Amendment. Why are you talking about guns? And I would say, because in the city, that's not what I want to lead with. Well, that means you're this. No, it means you just shut up. And I need to be the person that they need to hear. I need to meet them where they are. Is it acting? Maybe, and I'm okay with that. As long as my core doesn't change, I may lead with, say, guns out in a more rural area, but I might lead with education when I'm in a city. Doesn't mean my policies change. It just means, what do I lead with? I lead with this or I lead with that, right? The people who I think, I'm going to get people where they are and bring them to me. I may even change my language. I do. And what I mean by that, there's something we don't know. People who are Democrats, if you say, this phrase, I'm serious, if you say this phrase, if you say welfare versus public assistance, I change my language. If you're on the left, you don't want to hear welfare. When you hear the word welfare, oh, see, you hate public assistance is the phrase you want to hear. So will I change my words? Yes. Is that acting? Okay. But again, does it change my policy? No. Does it change my core? No. Does it change how I'm thinking? No. But I know that words matter. I know that there are 2 parts to all language, right? 2 parts. Connotation, denotation. Mike Voss is always about denotation. What does it mean? What does it mean? I don't care what it means. I care about connotation, which is, what does it feel? What does it feel? That matters far more. Now, for actual doing things, denotation matters. But for influencing people, connotation matters. So I care about connotation far more denotation. It's not even close. Far more. It's 20-1. I know you got people who do the, and I've teased this, Shapiro, Ben Shapiro on his facts don't care about your feelings. Well, that's some stupid facts. because feelings are far more powerful than facts. It's not even close. Feelings will erase facts. Feelings will make up facts. Feelings will ignore facts. Feelings are super powerful. Facts got nothing on feelings. Nothing on feelings. Facts are destroyed by feelings every single day, all the time, constantly. You get in a battle between facts and feelings, facts have no chance. Now, there's an exception here, which is consequences. Consequences aren't facts. And that's the confusion. I ignore facts all the time, and then I deal with the consequences. Consequences affect me all the time. Consequences are real. Facts are stuff people made up. I can ignore them all day long. Anyway, I went long on that, but yeah. So I guess maybe I'm an actor. I accept either one of them. I just hope you know that whatever it is, inside I'm the same person. So yeah. And I think you met me many times, Patty. And you have a more than once you have shown this chat that you have your finger on the pulse. So if you think I'm full of it, you're probably right. Just saying. If you ever see Patty come in and go, Larry's full of it, she's probably right. I'm just saying. She's probably right. So yeah. All right, let me keep on here. Shelley says, I testified before a grand jury about a guy who killed his son in 2009. He just got out of prison. Wow. Yeah, that Joe goes, that could be a concerning thing. I was thinking the same thing. Like, maybe you should go to someone's house who has a firearm right now. Maybe. Kim says, I'm not as forgiving as you are, Larry. What behavior, like little kid says about a man, is different for women than men? What behavior, like, says about a man? Maybe, right? I mean, but kids in general, we have a problem with that. So, yeah. Yeah. All right, let me keep going down this road if I can. Okay. Nate says, this EpiPen thing can unite left and right against the state. Oh, I hope you are right, Nate. I want you to be correct. Great opportunity for a third party to emerge. Here in New York, we need a strong gubernatorial candidate like you. Oh, thank you. And a strong candidate for senator to get 3% of the popular vote and maintain 4 years of ballot access. Yes. Open doors wide for local elections. Yes. This is the most important people that people don't get. Most important thing that people don't get in New York State. Ballot access is the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing. Once you get on the ballot, you have an actual chance, right? You have an actual chance of making improvements locally. He's right. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. All righty. Mike says, I'm a bit surprised at the current status of the chat poll. Okay, what is it? Oh, everyone thinks no change. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. Melissa says, the mayor of Utica is Republican. The county assemblywoman is Republican. And the state senator is Republican. It's not as blue as it seems. Yes, however. Melissa, yes, but there's a however here. Utica, even if you're Republican, you kind of act Democratic sometimes, right? I mean, the guys who run Utica, they were all about lockdowns. They were all about lockdowns. And they did the no hospital downtown, did all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. True. I mean, you're not wrong. I'm just saying, yeah. Kim says, no matter the party, the people need to hold their feet to the fire after they take office. We've been letting them slide with not too much for long. True. We vote when we think we're done, Kim. We vote and we think we're done. That's what we do. Yes. So my Violeta says, smash the like button. Yes, guys, if you have not already, please click the like button. It does matter. If you haven't shared, repost this. Look, how can this show grow if we don't, if Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore Rhythm, if he doesn't think that this show should grow? Well, we do that by sharing this and reposting it all over the place, put it into a Facebook group, someplace like that, clicking the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please do that if you would. Of course, please follow me on Facebook, X, and Rumble. That would be amazing. I hope you would do that. It will help tremendously if you can. It does matter. If you want to, as some of you have seen, you can super chat me if you want to. Appreciate that. You can super chat me on YouTube or rant me on Rumble. It goes right to the front. I know I fall behind on comments off because there come so many and you guys go back and forth. But if you super chat me or rant me, it goes right to the front. That's the advantage. It goes right to the front. So yeah. And also if you become a member, that helps tremendously. If you become a member, click that join button, $5 per month, $4.99. Good deal. Handsome guy like me, talking to all you guys. Come on. Good deal. It's coffee. I didn't have that much. I only have water right now. I don't even have coffee with me right now. A little bit late. I'm gonna have one after anyway. I have coffee late always. It's true. I do. It's true. I have a lot of coffee, probably too much, but what are you gonna do? I'm looking over on Rumble. Peace, thank you for the $1, my friend. He says, sorry if this was covered. Came in late. What's your opinion on Obama creating the Russiagate fiasco? Do you think he orchestrated it? No, I don't think he orchestrated it. I don't. Do I? This is what most of the time I think people do. I think he took advantage of it. Right? That's what I think. I do not think he orchestrated it. I don't think so. I think what happened is he saw it and went, oh, great. Okay, guys. The old never let a crisis go to waste. That's what I think, Peace. I do not think he orchestrated it. I don't believe that to be true. I think what he actually was, he saw it and went, great, guys, let's jump on board. That's what I think happened. And I get it. I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but I think in most cases, when it comes to the conspiracy theories, I think the government almost never makes the thing up. The government sees the thing happening and goes, oh, look at this gift. Let's now take advantage of it. Let's improve it. Let's do something like that. That's what I think. So yes. JJ says, have you thought of getting cocoa as an alternative to coffee? Not the Swiss Miss, but the actual natural brewed cocoa. I actually do. In my coffee, I actually put cocoa in my coffee almost every day. In fact, every day. I put cocoa in my coffee every day. So yeah, I already do that already. My morning coffee has a lot of stuff in it. It's like mud. I usually have some form of peptide, often creatine, some type of sweetener usually in the morning, and cocoa. So I do a mix of things for my morning coffee. It's muddy, but I don't care. It's how I get my stuff going in the first place. Then I take vitamins every day, of course, as I always do, many supplements every day. And then if I can, I work out. I try to work out at least every other day. I try to. Sometimes when I get crazy, I can't. But that's how I stay in shape. Otherwise, I won't be in shape. And how can I run for office if I'm not in shape? Jimmy Carter said it right. He said the two most important things for running for office are being in good physical shape and a sense of history. He was correct. I saw a chat go by talking about, why was Jimmy Carter such a great ex-president? And there are two reasons why. Number one, he generally stayed out of what other presidents were doing. He went, I did my time. He did the best of his ability. He was not a very effective president as a president. It's true, whether you like him or not. I think he's a great person. I love Jimmy Carter as a person. I don't think he was a great president. But when he was done, he went, I'm done. Good luck, guys who won. You do you. I'm going to go build houses for people and do charity stuff because I'm famous as a president. I'm going to use my fame that I got as president to go do cool things for people in need. How awesome is that? I wish all former presidents would do that. That was amazing. So he didn't get in other people's business. He could have made a comment on Reagan and a comment on Bush and a comment on Clinton and a comment. He didn't do that. He's like, you do you. I did my time. I'm gonna go off and do cool things now. And he did things that literally help people. Like he physically, like hammer in hand, helped build people's houses. I'm not making that up. How can you beat that? So I wish all ex-presidents, former presidents, would copy him as former presidents, which I will say, I say openly, I am happy to say it. I will say it always. In my lifetime, there was not a better former president than Jimmy Carter. I wish he was my grandpa. I know he's passed away, but prior to him passing away, I wish he was my grandpa. That's what I would say. I'd be proud to have him as my grandpa. Anyway, John says, I really want John Sulka to oust Mannion from New York 22, but I really do want him to sit in the Onondaga County Economic Monthly meetings and read a lot of Thomas Sowell and Mises, New York East on Massie. No. I love Sulka. I know him well. Again, friend of mine. Again, I want to be sure people who I know, I tell you I know. Some people I don't know any of these people, but some of them I know. I know Sulka personally. I talk to him often. I'm helping him to the best of my ability. I agree with you. I would like him to win 22. He's doing some events. I had him on my when I did Bob Lonsberry's show. I had him in studio. I did an interview with him in studio there up in Syracuse. So yeah, big fan. I'm with you 100%. Big fan. Yes. Big fan. So yes, Kim says, who loves you, Larry? I do. I know you do, Kim. Thank you. And now you have like numbers to prove it. You get a crown for liking me. Look at that. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. You get a crown for liking me. Who else gets a crown? So, yes. Phil says, as a consultant, how would you save the Tonight Show? All right. Here's how you save the Tonight Show. Tonight Show, you save the Tonight Show by doing what it used to be when it was way back in the day of the guy who, Johnny Carson, back in the Johnny Carson days. You save the Tonight Show by doing similar to what Gutfeld does, but in a different style. What Gutfeld actually does is he actually he supports like comedians and people of the day on his show as a panel, which is not a bad idea. So he's got like the Cat Tim, who's an author, and then the other dude, the big dude, Tyrus, is that right? Tyrus, right? That guy, the former wrestler. And then he has like two other people who are like people of the day. They show up, right? This is a brilliant method way of doing it, right? You get more people in. It's interesting. You have Tonight Show by doing kind of what Johnny Carson did. Johnny Carson would have interesting people talking to, but he had a lot of comedians. Comedians is the way. And how do I know this? Because being funny matters. Gutfeld does well because he's funny, right? And his people around him are cute. Also, Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart's actually funny, right? There's a joke now on how South Park got a bunch of cash where Colbert didn't. Well, because South Park is actually funny. When can you say bad things? When you're actually funny, right? When you're not funny, it doesn't work. The Tonight Show should be a spotlight for comedians. Sadly, it was a spotlight for Colbert. And that's a problem. Gutfeld, if you notice, Gutfeld says a lot of good stuff in his thing. He talks his trash, but he's always adding other people in. It's always all people together, right? Colbert was about him. That's the problem. Tonight Show could be saved, absolutely, if he would spotlight other people. That's how you save Tonight Show. Spotlight other people. You could do it. If they had asked my opinion, that's how you save it. I would not let the Tonight Show go away. I would not do that. I would not let any of those. I wouldn't let Late Night go away. I wouldn't let any of those go away. I would spotlight other people. I think that's how you do it. Because then they want to come on. Then you start bringing other people on also. You start, your audience can rotate and swap. You can get different people on board. Spotlight others. Because there are a lot of people who want, a lot of people who are not mainstream who like to get on mainstream. That's how you fix it. By making that connection. So yes. Sharfan12 says, Kat is a libertarian. She is. I know Kat, again, I'm sorry. This is the night when I know a lot of people. I know Kat. I've been on TV shows with her before when she was on Fox Business. She's a lovely person. And she's funny. And another thing is, I still tell the story often. First time I met her in person was 2016 at the convention where Gary Johnson won. Her, my friend Dave, and her dad got drunk right afterwards. I still remember that. I didn't get drunk because I was too busy. I was at a fundraiser raising money when they went and got drunk. So it was kind of funny. So I've known Kat for many years, 8, 9, 10 years now. So yeah, I like her a lot. Big fan of Kat. Big fan of Kat. And she's an author, writing books now too. So yes, that is also true. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. All righty. John says, very nice. Oh, talking about Salka. Yes. He has done a couple of speaking engagements in Onondaga County LP. Has a good professional relationship with my friend and former party chair, Sean. Yes, he gets along with Sean very well. Agreed. Yes. That's true. I do hope he does. I do hope he makes impact. I hope he does win. It would be great. So yes. Grab some more of these. Joel says the wealthy and political elites do not face justice. Here's how it actually works. They always find like one or two, usually one, scapegoat. And they give you one. See, there's the guy. He's the bad guy. Put him in jail and see, justice is served. So they always get like one person. So yeah, that's it. So that's how that works. James says Cuomo ain't going to jail. True. Accurate statement, James. He ain't going to jail. Yeah. Kate, you remember Kate John, but she doesn't have to call me Johnson. Yep, absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Dave says gold bars in New Jersey, home, and cash in a cereal box in Louisiana freezer. That gets you into jail. Yes, so they did put the one guy in jail who literally got bribed in gold bars. Menendez, right? Menendez out of Jersey. Yes, that's true. So that's the guy. So he goes to jail, right? Because it's so hard, so terrible, you throw one dude in jail. And Mike brings it up. He says it took 3 tries to get him in. Yep, but on the 3rd try they got him. So he's the guy you get. Literally, he got gold bricks. That's true. I can't believe it's a true story, but it is. Yes, they give you that one and then go, see, there we go. We gave you the one. Why are you crying? That's what it is. Ryan says, Colbert and Kimmel are not funny at all. Yeah, because here's the problem, right? The problem is too many of these guys, they start believing their own bullshit. That's what happens. Well, because people follow me, I must be smart. No, dude, that doesn't mean you're smart. That means people follow you because they thought you were funny or cute or whatever the case may be. So keep doing that. Keep doing that. Mike says, late night shows cannot be saved anymore. They're propaganda now. Total shills. They'll be gone in 3 years, I think. On the current path, yes. But could you make a shift? I think you could. I think you could make a shift, particularly if you did two things, Mike. As I said, showcase them, and then find another way of raising revenue through either internet or HBO Max or CNN Prime or whatever they're going to do, right? You do two things. Now, the advantage is like NBC already has Paramount. It's Paramount? No, Peacock. Peacock. And CBS has Paramount, right? CBS has Paramount. Is it ABC that has CNN? I forgot. No, CNN has HBO, whatever. They've got their own thing, whatever their thing is, right? They've got their other thing. So you do it on mainstream and then ship it to either web or to a subscription. You make money on both. That's how you save it if you start right now. But you're right. They're not gonna, though. They're not gonna listen to me. But it could be saved. This is savable with the right maneuver, changing how you focus it, and then adding other streams of income. It could be saved, but they won't. But it could be. This is when you have a system like this, it's easy to repair. This is repairable. They won't do it. But yeah. Alrighty. Let's see if I can go here again. Shelly says, I used to record in the same studio as Jimmy Fallon. Oh, look at that. There we go. Yeah. Alrighty. Phil says, yeah, Chris DiStefano filled in for Kimmel, and it was great. I thought Fallon did very well with creating viral clips. That's my point. See, thank you. You can you have to find another way of making it happen. You can't keep the same system. Ryan says, Johnny Carson was the GOAT. True. Accurate statement. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Phil says, Conan O'Brien, I think, had the right idea in going to a podcast. Conan O'Brien was ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time. That's the problem with him. He was about 5 or 10 years ahead of his time, and no one else got it. That was the problem. Ryan says, ABC has Hulu. There we go. Yes, I know each of them has their thing. I don't remember what it was, but they've got to move that shift, right? That's what they've got to shift. They've got to change things up and shift into that. That's what would happen. So, yeah. Alrighty. I know I was talking about in the past, I've been asking you guys, hey, do you want to join, be a member, blah, blah, all those things. I appreciate that. But there's another thing I want you to think about here, which I think you know what I'm going to talk about, which I haven't in a while. So I'm talking about it right now if I could. And that is. Yes, indeed, it is civil. I do want to bring this one piece, which is interesting. This is a piece on civil that talks about Bitcoin. And you might say, why do I care about Bitcoin? You may or may not. You may go, well, Larry, do I even understand Bitcoin? You may or you may not. That isn't the point. What I'm getting at here is this is an actual debate about can Bitcoin become the world's money? It's a Soho Forum debate, and there are many of them. There are lots of Soho debates. You can actually hear two sides.
The Congressional Budget Office predicts that it'll reach 102% of GDP by the end of 2021
it's our budget.
And hit 202% by 2051. The federal government's growing debt burden would increase the risk of a fiscal crisis and higher inflation, as well as undermine confidence in the U.S. dollar.
So can we make Bitcoin become the world's money? Can it become that? And some of you are going to be like, no, Larry, Bitcoin's dumb. Some are like, oh, no, it's great. Here's the advantage. Civil isn't telling you which one it is. Civil is giving you a debate on both sides. You can hear both sides of this argument, make a decision on your own.
BO concluded in its March 2021 long-term budget outlook. If the world were to lose confidence in the dollar, what could replace it? Another fiat currency, gold,
maybe.
Bitcoin?
Maybe.
That was the topic of a recent Oxford-style debate hosted by the Soho Forum. John Vallis, a financial consultant and host of the Bitcoin Rapid Fire podcast, believes that Bitcoin will eventually replace government's fiat money as the preferred medium of exchange. He argues that Bitcoin's global adoption is a matter of when, not if. Lawrence H. White, an economics professor at George Mason University, is skeptical of Bitcoin's future as money. He believes it may have a future as a financial asset, but isn't suitable to become a global medium of exchange.
Now, you might say, Larry, I already agree with one side or the other. So what? Watch and see how right you are, or how wrong you are, or change your mind, whatever the case may be. This is what Civil provides for you. No conflict machine. No, like MSNBC, I'm going to tell you what the answer is before I even give you any info. No, here's debate. Look at it. Learn. Decide what you think is appropriate. This is the stuff you get at Civil. CIVL.com. When you sign up, you're going to see a little green area. Click the little green area upper right-hand corner and put in the code Larry, L-A-R-R-Y, 50% off, $25 for the entire year. Not $25 per month, $25 for the entire year. All done. $25, you get all of that. Everything I'm talking about. Every single show, I give you one or two things that are great about Civil. Every show, you get more and more. There's more and more stuff coming up here, and it keeps growing. And you get my show. Wednesday is a Civil-only show, and tomorrow we're talking about how to fix the kids. It is We Fix It Wednesday tomorrow, 7 p.m. only on Civil. We Fix It Wednesday. How do we fix the kids? A nice show you will enjoy. Jump on board, CIVL.com, code Larry to get 50% off for a full year. I hope you guys will enjoy that. It is amazing. I think you'll like that. So, yes. All right, I'm keep going down here if I can. All righty. Kim says, Civil for $25 for 12 months. That's 48 Wednesday shows, a little 50 cents a show. That's nothing. And the rest of Civil is a bonus. She is correct. Yes, she is. She is correct. Thank you so much. That's exactly right. That's what I love. I do love that piece. So yes. Let's see here. Phil says Civil is cheaper than Netflix with ads. Yep. Yes. Very true. John says, shout out to the Soho Forum. Love Gene Epstein. Gene Epstein is awesome. Yes. He is awesome. I like Gene. I've seen him many times. I know him well. So yes. Okay. So I do like that piece. I do want to, if I can, ask you, I did ask you to like already. I'm glad you guys are looking at Civil if you can. It is very helpful. The last piece I want to bring up here is, I covered all of that. That's it. Okay, I covered it all. I'm going to make sure I cover everything. I have covered all the things. So here's what I'm going to ask you as always. Remember with the algorithm. After the show, people love when you comment, right? So please, if you would, comment. Comment, do you think? Comment based upon the poll. What I mean by that is comment and ask yourself the question, what is the outcome next year? What's the outcome next year of these civil wars in the parties? Is it going to be real change? Is one side going to win? One side going to lose? What will happen in 2026? What do you think the outcome is in 2026 from these civil wars we're having right now? Are the files going to come out? Are they not going to come out? Are they going to crush somebody? They're not. What do you think is going to happen in the next year for that? And as always, if you're watching this and it's not live, you're going to see two different videos pop up right here. Please do me a favor, watch one of them right away. Mr. Rhythm loves that. They love that. Like there's no tomorrow. They love when he does that, and it actually moves everything forward. So please watch one for at least 8 minutes. I will see you all very soon.